We are in February, which means these are all the books that I read in January. I read 4 books. Now I know that's not a lot, but I also work full-time and I volunteer with the Youth Cancer Service. I didn't have a lot of time this month to read a whole heap. However, I am not putting pressure on myself to read like 20 or so books a month. I read when I can, I read what I enjoy, and January was 4 books. And in saying that, I had a couple of 3 stars and I had a couple of 4 stars. They were all read on my Kindle this month, so I don't actually have the physical copies of them. I will one day. When I buy a house one day, I'm going to have an entire wall full of books. When that time comes, I'll buy the physical copies of the ones I read on my Kindle. As of now though, I don't have the physical copies of these ones. The one I read first was A Welcome Reunion by Lucinda Berry. I'll put the images here. This is a short thriller following Lucinda Berry's other book called The Perfect Child. Was this book a little unnecessary? Yes. I still read it? Yes. Did I read it in one sitting? Yes. The story basically follows the parents that adopted Jeannie, I believe her name was. However, she is now 18 plus. And while this story was a little unnecessary, I feel like if she were to do this a bit different and lean more into Jeannie as a 18-year-old, flesh it out a bit more, instead of keeping it a short book, the ending that it had, I feel like I would have been better and I would have enjoyed it a lot more, because the ending was so rushed and made the book very pointless. So I gave it a 3 stars, which still isn't horrible. It's just the average Joe to me. The second book I ended up reading was The Fury by Alex, the same person that wrote The Silent Patient. I listened to this one as an audiobook and I ended up getting very lost throughout the book. And that would partly be to do with the fact that I wasn't paying attention. I will put my hand up and I will say that. But it didn't grab my interest enough for me to pay attention. There were so many characters and I was just getting a bit confused and rather lost throughout the story. But I did enjoy the perspective of the way the story was told to you. So this was a 2-star because I don't care to follow the story to the T, to be honest. Simple as that. I enjoyed The Silent Patient. I really enjoyed that and the twist got me so good. But The Fury, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. The third book, another Lucinda Berry book. I've been kind of into thrillers lately, to be honest. I love myself a good thriller, a good crime. But the third book was Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry. This book kinda confused the hell out of me. I also found quite intriguing and I quite enjoyed it, even though they are fairly disturbing books. I liked all the twists and turns that it had. I never really quite grasped them, but I also enjoyed it. I don't know how the 2 and 2 of those go together, but they did and I enjoyed it and I'm rolling with that. So this book I ended up reading very quickly, my version of the phrase quickly. The story deals with a set of twins who struggle with the horrors of the implications of their birth mother. Individuals wants to continue on their life with someone that is not her twin. But I gave this one a 4.5 stars. It was good. Wasn't spectacular, but it was good. The last book I ended up reading in January was The Last Guest House by Caroline Mitchell. This was a 4-star read for me. I haven't seen a lot on this book, but I enjoyed it. It was very thriller-like in a very easy to grasp way. However, the podcast chapters I found rather boring. The book is essentially a couple who have gone on a holiday, a couple vacation, to the Isles of Skye in Scotland, to a very small remote place in it, and they get snowed in for the night. They end up staying at a hotel because the other one was booked out, and they end up staying there on the 10th year anniversary of a tragedy that happens at this hotel. The owners have some very strict rules that the guests have to follow, and the couple have some issues going on in their relationship, and everybody is really just trying to make it through the night. I am hoping to get to more books in February. I say that as I'm going to read Onyx Storm, which is a chunky girl, but it's not a race. We do what we can and we enjoy it. That's the main thing. If you've read any of these books, let me know. And if you have any suggestions, also let me know. I am open to learning new books, even ones that don't get talked about often. I will catch up a bit later.